Okay, so today, my fluty friends, we're going to work on some kind of flute basics. Always on flute, but especially in marching band, it's really important to learn how to project our sound. So that's what we're going to work on today. A lot of instruments, and some of you have told this before, most of the time there's not like a cool magic trick to make things better. But for flute, there actually are, as long as you do these techniques and you really pay attention to what you're doing. So there's two main things we're going to work on today. Number one is really spinning the air and getting a big focused sound. And the other one is something called harmonics. Some of you, we've done this a little bit before in kind of individual situations, but this is kind of a guided practice and exercise for everybody. So the first thing we're going to do is with your flute, be natural, even though it's like not a super often played note, is actually one of the most stable notes on the instrument. So we're going to start with a B natural. Excuse me. So B natural. Now I want you to play that B natural, and I want you to put all the air you can into it and really push it to the breaking point, to where you're getting as big of a sound as absolutely possible while trying not to get it to crack. But if it cracks up, it's okay, because we're learning and we're getting that air filled up. So really push all that air. You should really feel the muscles down in your belly pushing that air up from the bottom to feel that. One thing I've said to most of you before is to really get a big sound and make your sound go forward and project is we need to think of the air spinning. Once that air goes in, and again, the thing that actually makes the sound on flute is when the air hits this front edge of the tone hole and it splits. Some air going out and some air going in. It's that process of the airstream splitting that actually makes the sound. The air that goes into the head joint, we want that to go in with such speed that it doesn't just go in and stop, that it actually rolls around. It hits the edge of that tone hole, goes down into the head joint, and it rolls and it spins. So it spins all the way down the flute. We really want to get that air speed moving all the way through, not just right here, okay? So again, with B natural, push that B natural nice and big, just the absolute biggest sound you can get on B natural. And even if your pitch doesn't stay super steady, it's okay. Keep trying the B natural. Start with that until you get a good, solid, big sound. Once you get that, then we'll move on. So if you're still working on your B natural, pause the video and really work on that B natural, because you can't really go on until you get that one. Once you've got your B natural nice and big, we're going to go down one note at a time chromatically. So we're going to start at our B natural and we're going to slur down to B flat. Remember, on flute, there are 3 ways to play B flat. We have our B natural, and then of course you can use your thumb key. You could use 1 and 1, but remember, never use 1 and 1. That's bad. It's going to be flat. It's never going to be in tune. The best really way, especially when you're playing chromatic, is to use this gizmo key. Now, if you're looking close, I have 2 of these. You've only got 1 here. This is called your gizmo key. So you're going to play B natural and add this little thing right here to get the B flat. Because again, this key right here that you don't touch, that one moving is the important one to make B flat. We don't want to add anything else. Little key right there.
Gotcha. Cool.
So we're going to start with our B natural. Get it nice and big again. And if you need to start and stop to get that B natural big, when you're satisfied and you've got a good solid B natural, then we're going to slur down to that B flat using the gizmo key. And let it push down to the B flat. Keep your air going in between the notes. Don't let it back off. What a lot of people do is as they change notes, they'll play and your air almost stops. It slacks off as you slur. Push into the slur. Push into the B flat. Once you get your B flat as strong as your B, then we'll keep going. If you play the B natural and your B flat isn't as strong, and your B flat just isn't focusing, do it again. Start on B natural, push into B flat. From B flat, we're going to go on to the next one. And again, making sure that A is as strong. Once you get the A, we'll go from A to A flat. And this is the one where typically people are going to start having the issue of keeping the A flat as strong and as clear as what you've got in your B flat, and your A. So again, keep working on it until you get it solid. When you've got it solid, again, we're going to keep going down. Now my change there, if you listen real carefully from the A flat to the G, wasn't super clear, so I'm going to do it again. Again, one note at a time, we're going to keep going down. So I'm going to go all the way down. You may not get all the way down. Maybe you stop at A flat today. But each time you do this exercise, the focus is a big, solid note. Big, rich, and full. So I'm going to go all the way down to the low C. So I'm starting on F sharp. Notice I'm pushing it almost to that point where it's coming out high, but I'm keeping it low. So all the way down to the low C. So that's step one, is to really fill up your sound and your tone. And again, really feel like that air is spinning. You should feel the vibrations of the notes on your fingers. You should hear the sound pushing to that edge, especially the lower you go. And don't be afraid to crack. If it does, do it again. It takes practice, it takes time. This is not something you're going to be able to get through all of these on the very first try. The next thing we're going to look at, and I want you to work on, is something called harmonics. So we hear all the time about trumpet players and brass players playing partials, and they do their lip slurs. And they can do cool things like bugle calls and all kinds of stuff by being able to play partials in the different harmonic series for their instrument. Secret tip, flutes can do that too. And this truly is a magic trick. If you're ever playing and you feel like your sound is kind of airy and not real clear, this is what cleans it up. If you do this exercise, if it happens, if you're able to do it at all, you're doing it right, which means you're helping, and immediately your tone is going to get more clear and it's going to become better. So we're going to start on that low C. So again, the low C, all fingers, no left pinky, and you're going to use both these, both of the right hand keys here with your pinky. Again, I've got the low B foot. I know a couple of you do with the two rollers. You're going to have the paddle for the D flat, and you're going to have the one roller. You're going to hold both of those down. Okay, so we're getting all the way through to those. We're going to start on the low C. Try to get the low C out. If you can't yet, it's okay. If you can't ever, make sure and let me know so I can take a look at your flute. These keys come out of adjustment real easy. But if you can't get it out, it's okay. As you keep doing that first exercise, that will get better. So we're going to start with the low C. On this low C fingering, with all those fingers down, everything except for your left pinky, we can get a lot of different notes. We can play the low C. You can overblow it to get the third space C. You could go up from there to get the G at the top of the staff. And the next C above that. And then E. So there are several partials in there that you can get. And what this does is it brings the aperture, which is the center of the lips where your air is coming out, it brings that closer together and makes it smaller. So it really focuses your air and it focuses your sound. We can take this, a series of harmonics and this idea of a harmonic exercise, and do a lot of different things with it. But the first step and the first key is being able to control those pitches. See how many you can get and see if you can get them in order. Once you get them, then any bugle call, you know, those silly trumpet players can do, you can do on flute too. So work on the harmonics, get those different ones, and once you master harmonics, you'll notice your tone getting better. Getting those low notes is going to help those harmonics, and together you become invincible as a flute player. And once you get all that, I can show you some more tricks with harmonics and some scale exercises to really, really make the magic happen. So work on those two things, and again, it takes time. You're not going to get it all the first time, but slowly, little by little, you know, once or twice a week, do those kinds of things. Those are great exercises for warm-ups. Every time I practice, every rehearsal I go to, that's my warm-up process, is I do those long, low tones, and then I do harmonics on scales. And that really brings everything into focus for me, mentally, physically, and it puts me in the right spot that I need to be to accomplish what I need to accomplish in my practice session or my rehearsal. So work on those things, and you can outplay everybody.